All right, here we go. Hopefully, this works better than last time. Welcome back to Spraker Homestead. I'm Nikki, and we're going to do another live stream instead of a Mailbox Monday video just because my back's still been bothering me. So I have been kind of slow on getting anything recorded. So I guess I'll just start off. I don't really have any questions because most of it seems to be the same stuff I'm getting over and over again. I'll just kind of give you an update what's been going on around here. So it's been snowing and raining and cold, and today we went out and actually moved our goats for breeding. So we field breed. We don't hand breed or anything like that. So basically, between the two barns, that means all the does get moved around, all the bucks get moved around, and so our Nubian girls got uh, got their feet done and their annual deworming, and the big buck went over, and my back was done after that. And I thought, okay, well, maybe we'll do the smaller goats on a different day. Well, the bucks on the other side started fighting because they heard Freud over there breeding the Nubians. So we went out after lunch and were able to wrangle everybody. So everybody got moved today. So 5 months from now, we should have a whole mess of babies. We've got 18 girls in right now with bucks. So Anita, how's your back? Better, better. I had a really bad time last night for some reason. It's coming and going. It's far better than it was. Kanan bought me a heating pad, and it's getting there. This has been the first time that I've ever had back pain that no drugs would help. So ibuprofen wasn't helping. I've got some bare back and body stuff, and it wasn't helping. So nothing has helped other than the heating pad. Last night, I could finally sit on the floor without just a horrible amount of pain. So it's getting there. It's been just over 2 weeks now. We did go to town the other day, and riding in the car all the way to town, running errands, doing all that, and then coming back was a little tough. So, um, yeah, I want to get out and I want to do stuff. So for me, it's kind of aggravating. See if that's a little better. See if it's a little aggravating, but it's getting there. It's getting there. So what else is going on around here? So like I said, we bred the goats. I've been breeding some more rabbits. Having a horrible time with litters this winter. I guess it's not technically winter yet. Um, just experienced does doing really stupid stuff, and this kind of happens sometimes this close to the short day of the year. Um, it's like they're just brain damaged. So I've got does that have had babies in the box but pulled no fur. I've had other does that pulled fur and built beautiful nests and then threw babies on the wire. So I don't really know what's going on with that other than every great once in a while we get kind of this, I'm going to say, rampant stupidity right about the turning of the year. So I'm hoping things are going to be a little bit better. I do have some more girls bred a couple more. So that's a work in progress as always. Hoping to have a whole bunch more rabbit videos because I keep getting a bunch of requests and the list is getting longer, and I just haven't felt good enough to go out and do them. So this week, because we were doing the goats today, I could not film for tomorrow. So I'm going to try and actually put out a video Wednesday and Thursday, one rabbit, one goat, because I've had a bunch of goat requests here lately too. So if you're waiting on videos, be patient. I know, I'm sorry it's taking this long, but um, I have to feel good enough to stand out there long enough to do it and to be wrestling around with the critters and whatnot. So um, we should have some of that. And then I think Kanan will probably have a video out this weekend. So lots of stuff going on. I'll probably try and do an update on our greenhouse, which is looking pretty sad. I'm not going to lie. I went in there tonight, and it's just not getting the attention it needs because I haven't been able to do much. And where we had a big windstorm come through, it's kind of ripped some of the zippers that hold the doors. And so the cats are helping themselves because it's warmer in there. So they've smashed a bunch of stuff where they're laying on top of the frost blankets. And tonight we had a cat that had apparently Kanan had closed the plastic together and there was just enough gap that the cat thought it could make it in, and I don't know what happened. It was kind of getting dark, so we couldn't really see, but she had gotten her foot caught and was hanging upside down. We think it probably happened last night. And so we found her, got her out. She was not happy. She's limping. They're on, only walking on three legs. So, um, but by and large, the greenhouse is not doing so hot. We just haven't had enough warm weather. The barrels work really, really well when there's enough warmth for them to absorb. And right now, like the other day, I don't think we ever got above like 32 degrees. So it's really hard for it to absorb any kind of heat. So kind of a bummer. Still kind of getting stuff. I'm sure some of it'll make it through. Like the spinach is probably okay. I would imagine the lettuce is probably pretty much gone, and the kale's probably just kind of stalled out. So still some stuff in there, just not looking so good. Um, Beyond that, I don't know. We've just kind of been working on projects here and there. I have been crocheting Christmas gifts and just trying to stay going. Robin, hello. Glad you're feeling better. Try taking ibuprofen and acetaminophen at the same time. I tried that. Somebody else mentioned taking Tylenol and Motrin at the same time. I can't take Motrin; it makes me sick. But I did try that, the ibuprofen to aspirin thing, and it didn't do any good. So I don't know. I it's just a pinched nerve. It's sciatica, I think, or a pinched nerve, and it's getting better. So um, trying to now that everything's starting to loosen up and not so painful, I'm trying to do a lot of stretching. I used to do Pilates, and I'm probably going to go back to that because it seems to help quite a bit. So hopefully that's going to do some good. Beyond that, I did get another incubator. I'm sure that anybody who follows us on Facebook did see that after we talked about it in our Christmas list video, we got talking about it, and I happened to get an uh, affiliate card from Amazon because we do some affiliate links. And it was just enough that I only had to squeeze out like 12 or 13 bucks out of the budget to buy an extra incubator. It is not high quality by any stretch. It looks to be fairly decent. So I'm hoping that once this hatch either fails spectacularly or ends in me having some baby quail, I'll try and do a review on it because the price on it was really good. It was like 57 bucks. But I don't know. I'm not optimistic. I'm a little irritated that it only reads in Celsius. But it did say that on there, and I went with it anyway. So um not a real sturdy feeling unit. The Turner's a little weird to me. But we'll see. I mean, what I really wanted was another Brincia, and because that's what my cabinet incubator is, and their incubators are awesome. But unfortunately, the small one was like 300 bucks, and it's a little out of the price range right now. So I did butcher our extra male quail. That actually went surprisingly well. So that's kind of what prompted me to get an incubator and to try and hatch some more quail. So um, hopefully I'll have some more quail here in I'm only a couple days in, so another 2 weeks, give or take, and those will be butcher ready February-ish, Marchish, probably Marchish. So, but digging the quail, we're really liking the quail quite a bit. Even Kanan's coming around to the quail. He wasn't so sure he was gonna like them, I think, but they're cute little buggers. They're, you know, they're all of like 5 inches tall. Our jumbos are a little bit bigger than that, and I don't think I've got true jumbos. I'm gonna order some hatching eggs this spring, I think, and try and get some bigger, true jumbo lines going. So, um, that's kinda all that's been going on around here. It's been pretty quiet. It's kind of a slower time of year, and with me kinda laid up, there's not a lot going on. Kanan's been working in the garage a lot with his cars and trying to do that sort of thing. Yeah, we're just pretty much surviving. So, some of the questions that I've been getting in the last couple weeks, like I said, it's a lot of the same kind of stuff as my rabbits aren't breeding, or I'm trying to breed a 4-month-old New Zealand and she's not lifting. Uh, Probably the best question I've had in the last couple weeks has been on LGDs. somebody was asking, they found one, I guess, at a shelter and was trying to figure out not being able to the dog's age or if it's been with livestock. The shelter will give you a chance to take it home because a lot of shelters now and rescue organizations will let you do trials at home. I said it was certain. I'm always a little nervous with a full size dog like that, that you don't know how they are with livestock, and not every LGD is good with livestock. Uh, we have some we have some here that are not. I will just admit that right out of the gate. We have a doe in particular, or a female in particular, that is not good with anything smaller than her. She gets real bossy and real pushy, and some of them aren't good with chickens. And this person in particular was asking about goat and chickens, and you know, chickens, I always feel like LGDs is about 50-50. So it's kind of one of those things. Um, but if you can do a trial, like I told him, if you can do it at home, don't leave it in with the goats unsupervised, but kind of keep an eye on it. Um, Absolutely, I'm a huge fan of rescue dogs, and unfortunately, we see so many of these LGDs now ending up in rescue organizations that I'd love to see them get a job. But you have to know that a lot of times they're there for a reason. And a lot of times it's also stupid stuff like they've been in the suburbs and they bark too much or they run. And, it's just kind of one of those things that maybe it can be trained out, maybe it can't. But if you can do a trial, that's worth it. If you can't, unfortunately, it's probably not a dog I'd take a chance on unless you're prepared to have a dog that isn't good with stock. Lady Luckbug. I have a bunny that has ring neck. Oh, Ryneck, probably. I was going to use her to breed, but figure it's not a good idea. Do you think she'll be safe to eat? Um, it depends on why she's got Ryneck. There's a couple of different things that can be happening there, and you need to make sure that you know for a fact it is Ryneck. You can get a lot of different things that manifest the same way with that tilted head. Neck injuries. I actually had a doe that injured her neck, and it looked like Ryneck. But the big thing is she was fine one day, and the next day she was kinked over, and she was kinked over for a long time. But I kept thinking it was a weird time of year, and I thought there's no way that this is what's going on with her. And gradually, I had to separate her from her siblings, and gradually her head worked itself back up. There's lasting damage, and if she gets really stressed, she tends to tilt over a little bit. But you can tell by the way that she holds her ears together that there's something going on there. But if it's true Ryneck, and it's which can be a couple of things, but a lot of times it's E. cuniculi, which is a protozoan. I probably go ahead and cull her and not eat her. Um, I'm nervous about anything that could be a parasite because a lot of those kind of things are protozoan because a lot of them are zoonotic, meaning that they transfer. Never heard of anybody getting it, but I probably would. It's a gradual kind of thing, and it gets worse and worse, and then they'll start rolling and can't balance. Um, you might want to check really deep down in the ears and see if it's an inner ear infection or ear mites really, really deep. Sometimes you'll get ear mites down so deep that they don't really crust out all the way. And when they get in like that, it causes balance problems. And they'll naturally hang their head and just sure I want you to call her and turn out that it was nothing. Happened before too with an ear infection. You can usually tell if you feel the base of the ears, one will be much warmer if it's an inner ear infection. Um, and if you don't see signs of ear mites, you can actually dribble a little penicillin, like uh, what is it, Penji that you can get at the feed store. You can dribble some down in there, and a lot of times that'll kind of straighten it out. Or if you see something, you can try and flush it out. But yeah, as far as is she safe to eat? No, I probably wouldn't, but I would get to the bottom of it and try and make sure absolutely you know what's causing that and that you're not calling her for the wrong reasons. Because that would be a bummer. But let's see what else has been going on here. That's the only other question I see right now. I've treated her twice with IVANMEC. Well, IVANMEC is not something that will actually fix Ryneck. I'm not sure why I keep seeing this on the internet, but it really doesn't. What you want to treat with is fenbendazole, which you can get from any feed store. Usually, you get the oral suspension, which is made for goats. We actually use it in here. You can use fenbendazole for like another IVANMEC, if I remember right. If I can find it, I'll post it on our community tab because I have it somewhere. But IVANMEC on its own, if it's E. cuniculi or any of those protozoan or parasite problems, IVANMEC will not fix it. It just doesn't. IVANMEC doesn't really cross the blood-brain barrier the way that fenbendazole does, and that's what when you're starting to deal with Ryneck, you're starting to actually get up into the base of the brain a lot of times. So IVANMEC is not effective for that. But I'll look. I'm pretty sure I have the dosage somewhere saved on my phone, and then I'll put it on the community tab when we're finished. So make sure that you look for that later on this evening. But you can try and treat it but if you're not getting anything out of IVANMEC, don't panic yet because that it just probably is doing you no good. Um, I'd be curious, how long has she been presenting symptoms? I mean, like, how sure are you that this is, true Ryneck? Um, but yeah, so that's something to look at. I would pick up some fenbendazole. Most of us that do goats have it's not too expensive. It's like I say that, but everything went up this year. I think the last time I bought it was like $35 for a little thing, and it is an oral suspension, so you just draw up whatever you need, probably an eyedropper full, and then you can just drop it in their mouth. It won't hurt them a bit. So it's pretty easy to do. You'll have to turn them over 3 weeks. Yeah, if she's had it for 3 weeks, it could be, but there again, it could be an injury. Um, at this point, though, I mean, if you're looking at pretty much colander, at this point, it's certainly not going to hurt you to try the fenbendazole and see if you can straighten her out. Um, Sometimes they make a recovery, not often, but sometimes after doing the full Ryneck treatment and doing the fenbendazole and the IVANMEC, and I want to say there's something else you give them, maybe penicillin. I'll have to look. Um, but once you finish that, sometimes they straighten back up enough that I know people who have had does that have gotten Ryneck that still breed them. A lot of times you can't with a buck because their balance is off, so they have a lot of trouble with the whole thing a lot. But if it's a doe, yeah, you might be able to straighten her out enough to put her back in the breeding herd if that's what you want to do. Because of course it might just be too much effort at this point. I know sometimes it's kind of a pain, but if she's a good doe and she's worth trying it on, um, you might be able to turn her around and still do fine. And once she's been treated, they won't pass it along, at least not that I have ever heard. So you may give that a shot. Um, let's see. What other questions have we had this week? I did get a question the other day of somebody asking me, was our hip camp still open? And we are closed for the winter. There's currently a couple inches of snow down in our campsites. And so I have closed us down until probably April-ish, but we will be back to doing it next year. With the way that the COVID restrictions are coming and going, from what I'm seeing, it looks like campgrounds are going to be like not open again this next year. So um, you might, if you're a camper and haven't been able to go, you might look into hip camp. The bad thing about it is, yeah, it tends to be more expensive, but there's a lot of rules to it. Like when we first started, we couldn't have more than I think it was 3 sites on an 8-acre parcel. So social distancing, if that's your thing, yay, you can get a whole lot of space and pace it off and figure out how many cars I'm comfortable with having down there. So grass cutters, love you guys. Hope everything is good. Keep up the great videos. Thank you. We are trying. I'm trying to get back onto schedule after having a screwed up back, but it's doing better. I actually helped wrestle some of the goats today without injury. So mostly I let Kaden do it, but I did get a hold of a couple of them today, and it was kind of like the hold on and just like pray that they don't give me a hard time until he could get over and grab them. So it's just kind of one of those things. But let's see. What else have I had questions about? And if anybody has questions, feel free to type them on in there because I gotta look and see what I've got. Um, oh, I've been getting a bunch of questions about our Female Farmer Friday because I announced it a couple weeks ago and then we haven't done anything. We are going to but we are Chris and volunteered to be my guinea pig. I mean my person to be interviewed. We're still really excited to do. It's just been kind of a crazy deal. So hopefully soon we will get to that. Um, so another LG. Um, okay. Well, I don't know if Anita's still on, but hopefully that's better, Anita. It looks like we were having some connection problems. Anyway, so that's about all I've got. Different connection. Much it is pretty much what we got, which kind of it's kind of a bummer. But so I don't know if Robin was still on, but I am working on your video for how to tell if your dough is in heat. I've got to kind of be pretty quick about it since the bucks are now in over there. So um hopefully they're settling my doughs like now. There was a lot of tail baby goats out there right this second. So well, I think that is about all I've got right now, guys. So I think I'll just go ahead and end it because I don't see any more that you need answered in the meantime. You can always send me an email, hit me up on YouTube and Facebook and all that fun stuff. So we're around. Just send us a message and I'll try and get to you. We are probably going to try another live stream this next Monday. I like doing that rather than trying to find time to film. But if I don't have any questions, then I'm pretty next week. Have you ever, let's see, Anita, have you ever used a buck rag? We don't. We've never bothered. We always just group breed when we're ready. And it seems like our bucks tend to settle multiple does in one day anyway. So we get little, what seems to happen, like all females, they kind of sync up a little bit. So it seems like we'll have 2 or 3 that come into heat. A week or 2 later, we get a couple more, and then they kind of we just let the boys settle them when they're ready to. We're kind of an all natural kind of deal when it comes to the goats. That's why we pasture breed. We just turn the buck over for 3 months, let them kind of do their thing, and usually we settle all of the does within about 2.5, 3 weeks of the time the buck goes in. So I don't want to deal with a buck rag. I know people that are very selective and hand. I don't bother. It's it's an interesting idea though. I mean, rub it on a stinky buck and have a buck. I always did the same things with my buck. Carolina that are huge dairy breeders and they so whatever kind of works. But all right. That's all I've got, guys. So, like I said, keep in touch. If you have questions, go ahead and post them somewhere, and I will try and get that treatment for Ryneck posted up on our community page tab, whatever it is.